Okay, we'll call our meeting to order. Good afternoon. We'll have a roll call, Madam Clerk.
Director Samara?
Here?
Director Palmer?
Here.
Director Atwater?
Here.
Director Boyd?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Great, thank you. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. New equipment. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, no breathing.
You can push it back like this and then bend
I can put it all the way over there by the bright lights. Okay, moving right along to public comment. Now's the time for the members of the public to address us on any issue not on the agenda. I haven't received any requests, but if there be any of you that are interested in addressing us, now's the time on any issue not on the agenda. We did receive one comment in the mail. Still trying to figure out what it said, but we received it and it's filed for the record. So I see no requests, so we'll move right along. You're, as usual, welcome to address us on the items as we go along. We'll move right along to our discussion items. Stakeholder Engagement Committee update. Sorry, approval. I always miss something.
I'll make a
No,
motion
there
to
is.
approve the minutes.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
What's the motion? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say no. Abstentions?
Abstain.
One. We'll move right along then to 7 discussion items, Stakeholder Engagement Committee update.
Okay, so I apologize, but Nasli is having a root canal right now.
Ouch.
I am
It's okay, we could.
gladly
It's
trading
almost as bad as the
trading
meeting,
with her. Just a real quick update. We updated you, our last meeting was held December 11th, and we did have a board meeting after that. So I did update you on our last meeting, but I did want to, we have a meeting next Wednesday, the 22nd, and it will be from 3 to 6 p.m. At the Bellevue Vineyard in Rio Vista. Same location that we were at last time, a lovely place. Accommodated a good-sized crowd. I thought the space worked really well. And at that meeting, we're going to be following up with a roundtable discussion on the previous meeting's topics, allow them to ask questions and have them answered as follow-up. And then Carrie will be presenting the notice of preparation, what's in it and what it means for us. And then we're going to dive right in with the most northern facilities, begin the discussion with the intakes. And if time allows, we can just sort of tee up the conversation for tunnel launch shafts. So looking forward to another engaging meeting with the committee. They've, to date, been extremely helpful, and I think we've built a cooperative relationship there, and I'm anticipating that sustains itself.
Thank you.
Glad to answer any questions you may have.
Chair, have any comments?
Nope.
Committee Chair?
It was a good meeting, and what's nice is that people seem to get more comfortable. I think it was mentioned in the report. They're getting more comfortable with actually expressing some of their true feelings, and which is good, because then we get a good cross-section of what people are thinking and what their opinions are.
Yes, I noticed that in the streaming. Vice Chair Keegan is also here. I did notice in the streaming, and I want to make sure that folks know that the public is welcome. We have plenty of room for their presence, and also it's being streamed. Is it being streamed
Yeah, at this
live?
new location, one of the
Because now
benefits there is we can do live streaming there. They actually
Great.
have the infrastructure for that. And it's one of the reasons why we're going to try to have as many meetings as possible in that location.
Great.
Although we do want to spread it out.
It's a good
still.
location. It's kind of central.
Yeah.
Okay, just so folks know that, so if you can't want to see it live, but you can't make it, then you certainly can stream it, and it's right on our website, so. Okay, we'll move right along then to January DCA monthly report.
So you all have a copy of the monthly report in your pack. Just one thing I want to point out is we continue to forecast a budget of just under 50 million at the end of this fiscal year, same as previous month. There's been no new requests for permissions for procurement. I did want to alert you that we just did sign the task order to initiate development of our new website. So take us about 4 to 6 months, and then we'll have a fully revamped website ready to go. But otherwise, nothing new or significant in the report.
Maybe when we do it, we could have a little demo in terms of let public see how to navigate themselves around the website and
Sure.
ta-da,
As we get,
unveiling type of thing.
yeah, as we get closer to completion, that'd be fine.
Great. Good news. Any questions? Okay. Then we'll move right along to C, consider passing resolution to amend the DCA bylaws. Counsel? Sure.
Sure. Thanks, President Estromera. So that item before you is a resolution to amend the bylaws to clarify how the executive director can delegate her authority. So currently, the bylaws are actually silent on that, and so, implicitly, Catherine has that authority. But we thought it would be a good idea just to go ahead and lay out explicitly in the bylaws how that would happen. So generally, under the proposal, Catherine could delegate any authority to any other DCA staff person that she felt was appropriate, as long as that delegation was set forth in a writing which indicated the scope and time frame of the delegation, and then a copy of that would be forwarded to the board for your information. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Yes.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, I make a motion to approve. It's consistent with, I think, general
Second.
practice with general managers or executive directors on delegation of authority.
Yes. Yes, second.
Second.
Any questions? Discussion? Those for motion say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Abstentions? Passed unanimously. We'll move right along to D, 989th Street DCA build-out update.
Okay, so just real quickly, we are scheduled to move into our new space. As you're aware, the lease was up on our space that we had currently are in over on Bonnerson. And so we're scheduled to move in on the 23rd. And we wanted to use a really quick presentation of the space. Jennifer Malone, who is our facilities manager, who has led a lot of the contract management around the new move, will do a quick presentation for you of the new
Great.
space.
Thank you. Hi. So we're getting very close to moving into the new facility. Claudia, next slide. As it looks right now, we're going to be moving into the 24th floor on Monday, the 27th. We will be moving into the 23rd floor in late February, and the first floor will be late March. At this point, we would anticipate the first board meeting to be the April board meeting at the 989th Street location. We have a couple of pictures just to show you the progress. We have our reception area. There's a nice tenant lounge in the building that we're going to utilize while we're waiting for the rest of the floors to be finished. We have a great open kitchen and cafe area that will also be used as a general meeting area. All of the work areas are open plan, so it's allowing for quite a bit of collaboration, communication across the board. So some of the features.
Sit-stand desks for
And sit-stand desks.
Okay.
So we're going to have workstations for 100 people. We have 7 meeting rooms and 12 open, flexible workspaces. There are all kinds of different things, from a booth seating to, 2 chairs together, places for 6 people, tables, benches, things like that, allowing for a lot of different collaboration across the board. We've got a mudroom and, like I said, a great cafe break area. On the 24th floor, we have several different types of technology-driven meeting rooms, ranging from one that seats 4 to phone booths. With the open floor plan, we opted to have a few different phone booths available so that somebody could go in and take a private call. We have a quiet room for those that are working and need to hunker down and simply focus on what they're doing and not be distracted by other things around. Then you can see, I won't go through each and every one of them, but we have flexible work areas everywhere. Like I said, from booth seating, blueprint work areas, open seating, meeting areas, things like that. On the 23rd floor, that's our main meeting area. We're going to have 4 fully integrated AV conference rooms. The war room with the Avacor interactive collaboration system that allows for touchscreen use. Our copy and work room, mud room, cafe and break area, and then that's also the space for future workstations as needed with growth. Again, this kind of just goes over the technical aspects of the different conference rooms that we have available, and it shows the definite adequate open workspace for future build out. On this floor, we also have a wellness room for whatever people need to do to feel well.
And the board use them too?
Yeah.
Anytime.
And it looks like you have plenty of room for a ping pong table right now.
We do, we do.
Too much work to do, man.
Yeah.
No time. All work, no play. All work, no play.
And then we've got, again, flexible open work areas on the 23rd floor. Down on the first floor, that's where the main boardroom is. We're going to have our reception area, the public boardroom, the closed boardroom, 2 conference rooms, a work room, another cafe and break area, and it's the site of our future visitor center that we're still developing what that's going to look like. Here's some floor plans for it. The public boardroom will seat 65 in public seating. At the dais, we will have seating for 11 board members with integrated audiovisual right in front of you. So it's going to be a wonderful workspace. The team is getting very, very excited to get going. We're starting to pack up and get ready to get over here.
I just want to make one clarification. I know it says cafe. That means we serve coffee and there's a microwave. So don't be confused by that word cafe.
No, barista, yeah, okay.
We like to call things fancy names when,
Is there a possibility of like, say, the board getting a tour or something like that of how the thing is setting up? Like,
I think that you guys are doing a tour after this meeting, aren't you?
I am doing a tour at 3:30 today for anybody who would like to go through.
yay.
Yeah,
And we'll just make sure to do that tour 2 by 2, please.
The area.
2 by 2.
Any questions?
Yeah, right now, I mean, we're really excited to get the new space because the cubicle areas meant for 1 are being shared by 2 and 3 right now in the existing space. So, and then in terms of the technology, we're implementing smart technology so that we'll have firms that have offices all over the world, and it's really important that we stay connected. So all of the conference rooms, meetings rooms will have AV equipment where you just click on the meeting and we can all network together, and also have the apps on our phones and our iPads so that no matter where we are, we can participate in AV audiovisual meetings, teleconferencing with people everywhere. So a lot of it is, it's very high tech in terms of integrating staff everywhere around the country and the world.
Yeah, actually, if I might made a point, I remember hearing many presentations on programs and things of this sort, projects of this sort, and being able to integrate seamlessly with all aspects is crucially important. So everybody should be aware of that.
Right, and even down the road, as we hopefully at some point get into construction, just being able to connect very quickly and closely with all the different construction offices will be very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions? Great. Okay, move right on to staff reports and announcements. General Counsel's report.
Thanks, President Estromera. My written report is in the packet. The one thing I wanted to highlight actually isn't in the report, and that's just a reminder that because it's 2020, We have a whole nother round of Form 700s. So you should have received an email directing you to file that electronically. Just a reminder, those are due April 1st, and Claudia and I are available to help if you have any questions. Thank you.
And it can easily be done online?
Yes.
Has the state, the FPPC, figured out yet how we can report multiple boards on one submission?
So it's my understanding you still need to file separately for each office, but Claudia and I can follow up on that to make sure.
I appreciate it, thanks.
Yeah.
But probably online you can
You may be
still
able to
do
check
both.
multiple. Yeah.
You can still do both, but, they're separate, but you can still do both of them online, I think.
Yeah.
Separate but equal?
Yeah, exactly. It copies it for you anyway, so. All right, we'll move right along then to, no questions on that report. Okay, we'll move right along to the treasurer's report.
Good afternoon. Again, Katano Kasaine,
Yes.
representing MED. I have the report for December attached, along with the budget versus actual appropriation through December 29. As of December, we had about $522,833 in the fund. If you remember, we came to you a while ago to advance some dollars because out of these contingency funds, because the DCAO could not pay for advanced deposits. So that's why we're really low. So we're hoping to get that money soon. We actually did get money this week. So we got another $240 million. So our balance actually is higher. I don't have the exact number, but it is higher than that 477 as of this month. I also just wanted to note what's not in the report is that we are submitting our annual financial transaction report to the state next week for the DCA. And I will take any questions you might have.
Great, thank you. Questions? Thank you very much.
Glad we got that extra money.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we're on the plus side. Okay, moving right along to our EWR Environmental Managers Report. I do have a public comment. Ms. Preserve, would you like to do it before or after the report? Okay, I thought if you did before, she could respond, but that's fine. Afternoon, Carolyn.
Hi. We released an initial study and proposed negative declaration on soil investigations to help inform geologic understanding of the Delta and Delta Conveyance alternative formulation. So we released the ISMND in November. We've talked about it at these meetings previously. And based on public comment, we extended the comment period to January 15th, which was yesterday. We received 22 comment letters so far, although we may receive a few more that come in via regular mail that we just haven't received yet. So far, comments are from tribes, local government, state and local agencies, non-governmental organizations, and individuals. Also, yesterday, we released the notice of preparation for the Delta Conveyance project to initiate the environmental review process. Comments are due on the NOP on March 20th. We have scheduled 7 scoping meetings in February, most of them within the Delta. Also notably, one of them is on the day of the next board meeting, so I won't be able to be here, but someone from DWR will present if there's information. We have filed the NOP with the State Clearinghouse and county clerks, which we filed it with 36 county clerks. We also sent out notifications to landowners, elected officials, public water agencies, local agencies, and other interested parties by postcard. That was over 14,000 postcards. We sent 45 notification letters and copies of the NOP to state and federal agencies as required under CEQA. We sent 155 notification letters and copies of the NOP to disadvantaged community representatives. 177 letters and copies of the NOP to tribal representatives, electronic notification to our distribution list, which is nearly 8,000. We sent out a press release. We posted the NOP and related information on our website. We are in the process of posting informational flyers that have library locations throughout the Delta. We have hard copies of the NOP and other informational materials in 133 libraries, and we published 7 newspaper legal notices. So we're trying to reach as many people as we can. So the NOP describes our project objectives and includes an overview of the proposed project as a basis for comments, and it seeks input on the scope of the environmental analysis and potential alternatives.
I just want to comment that the Q&A section that you also put out, I found this, I mean, I did read this one, but I have to go over it more thoroughly. It was just a quick read because that's all I had time for. But this is really a useful thing, I think, for everybody to kind of take a look at this because it kind of gives a nice little synopsis of some of the ideas behind that. One of the things I wanted to ask you, and maybe I, just don't understand all of the ramifications and implications. As I'm looking through this, I didn't see any mention of development of the DCA. Is that doesn't
So-
come into play there, that the DCA would be doing the design and construction once the thing is set up?
No, I mean, DWR is the CEQA lead agency, and this is describing our action as the potential lead agency. So the DCA is acting as our agent. We are the lead agency. So this is focused on our role.
Okay, just wanted to check on that one. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, Ms. Mazur?
It's right here, Dan.
Over there. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Just real quick, I want to make a comment on the floor plans. I didn't expect to have any comment on that, but I kind of find it insulting that you would name the rooms after the communities that we believe would be destroyed by this tunnel project. In addition, the war room, I do believe this project is a war on the Delta, and having a war room kind of confirms that too. So I have no suggestion about what to do. I just find that insulting. But I asked to speak on the NOP. I work with local agencies of the North Delta and other folks in the Delta. And we're just really disappointed to see the notice of preparation be basically after a year pause to apparently try to look at ways to do a better project that would fit in with the Delta better and do less damage to the Delta, whether it's the communities during construction or during operation. And basically, we had a whole year spent with no interface at all on what the alternatives could be besides the tunnel. And then we have an NOP that basically has all the same intakes in all the same locations. There is a different corridor potentially to the east that could reduce some of the construction impacts, but it doesn't address the operational impacts that we're so concerned about when you have a tunnel of up to 7,500 CFS, which is more than half the average flow of the Sacramento River, to be operated flexibly by contractors who want to get as much water as possible out of the Delta and who I believe are responsible for large part the poor condition of the Delta, environmentally and otherwise. So, I just think the NOP is very disappointing that more couldn't be done. And I think I came here every month, and I think all of us stakeholders have been available to try to address better alternatives that would meet the export water contractor concerns, but would not destroy the Delta. And there's been zero interest in having that conversation. Instead, the DCA and DWR and the contractors have spent this time by themselves working on their own stuff. There is the stakeholder committee, but the purpose of the committee is not to inform alternatives to a tunnel, but to try to get them to help build maybe what would be a better tunnel. So I just find myself very disappointed in when I saw the NOP, it just confirmed my worst fears about what would happen and whether we were having a restart with something different with a group of people who really were committed. And then seeing, your war room and your rooms named after the communities that would be so devastated by this project, it's just very disappointing.
Thank you. Anything? Okay. We'll move right along then to verbal reports, if there be any.
Oh, I just wanted to mention a
Yes.
couple of things.
Sure.
I just think that as we look at our report that we get monthly, it's a nice thing with hot buttons and that type of a thing. I'm just going to call people's attention to page 10 on the schedule. I just found it's really interesting that it's on there, and if people want to see how we're progressing and what's behind and what's on schedule, and that's kind of a nice quick synopsis. And also the other one that I thought was really was really useful was the, let's see, which other one was, sorry, slide 8 on the graph. That was for the planned cash flow. That was also pretty interesting in terms of just seeing where we are in terms of our cash and what's available and what's been spent. And so that's kind of a really, if you want to cut to the chase, those are really 2 good slides, which are really well prepared. And then I guess I have some future things when we get to that. Are we going on
The
future?
future agenda items?
Yeah, when you're there.
I don't see any further verbal reports, so, okay, we'll move right along then
Okay, so,
for future agenda items.
okay, I just thought in the future, maybe we can have more of a board discussion on the NOP. I know you have to agendize these things, and so that I'd like to see. Also, as we, let's see, future open integration of, yes, you can't read my writing, jeez Louise. Okay, so basically public demo of the website I already mentioned, and then I'd like to also take a look at some succession planning as we're looking at this. I like the idea of you being able to appoint somebody as a deputy program manager, and it'd be nice to see how we're actually looking at this in terms of, people moving in and out and that type of thing, in terms of, if emergencies and things like that as a discussion item. That's it.
Anybody else? Okay, great. We'll move right along then to adjournment, but just to remind everyone that our next scheduled meeting will be February 20th, at the same regular time at 2 p.m., unless there's included a 1:30 closed session, though not planned to have one yet. And let's see, and then, we'll still be here for a while, as we mentioned before. Yes?
I have one other thing.
Sure.
I do agree with the use of the word war room. I'm not offended, I'm not insulted, but oh my goodness, what a term, really. Let's come up with something else, that would be really cool. Any rate, that's it.
Okay, we'll work on that. Peace room, man.
Semantic.
No problem.
Peace room, yes.
Hangout room, cafe 2. Okay, so we're adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.